Hey everybody, this is Ricky at SipNtel coming at you with another podcast. Well, not really a full podcast. This is just a mini sip. This is Minisip number 6. Well, it's almost 6.5. So last night I had one of my first times ever. My podcast recording kind of took a dump on me. I had a new device I was trying to record off of, so I wouldn't have to bring my desktop over every time I do this. And when it was recording, it kept having frame skips. Although I didn't notice that until the end of it. I saw, well, it was kind of weird. I saw one little thing that said frame skips, and I was like, all right, no big deal. Should be fine. I was editing it today, and it looked, you could tell the lip sync was off on the audio and the video. And that was really quite annoying. So I decided, at first I was going through it, and then I decided, you know what? Instead of trying to fix it, I threw it on handbrake. It didn't work. I figured I'd just start all over. Plus, I rambled, and I didn't have a good focus last night when I was recording. It's unfortunate because of the main topic today, which I will get to in a second. Another note I wanted to mention, and I need to email Apple about this. Apparently, on the Apple Podcast app, the podcasts aren't updating, and that's unfortunate because the most recent podcast was actually really good. It was all of us doing our year-end review and year-end and goals for 2019 and the end of the year stuff. But yeah, so that kind of covers where we're at. I'm gonna email all of them tomorrow, and I'll try to sort out that thing. It's working on other apps, as far as I can tell. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it's actually working on other apps. I use a separate podcast app, and I listened through it, and it sounded fine. So it's just something with the Apple Podcast app. And I don't know much about that because I haven't used it for a while. But I'll look into it. With that being said, one other quick announcement. Upcoming Tuesday, New Year's Day, Isaac and I are going to do another mini sip. That should be another 20-ish minute episode. We're going to go through a couple IPAs and just kind of talk about what we're going for. And yeah, that mostly covers where we're at as a people. Now, last night I did a really fun thing when I did the recording that unfortunately isn't going to be here. But I completed a 2019 goal already, which is really dumb, and I probably need to think of another 2019 goal. And this is what I said last night, and I didn't think of one. But as of Wednesday, I did my first beer trade, which I'm really, really excited about. So excited that I actually set up another beer trade. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere right now, but how beer trading works, it's kind of weird. There used to be a cool subreddit called Beer Trade, our Beer Trade, and I unfortunately didn't know about it till it had already kind of come and gone. Reddit cracked down on it for some reason. I don't completely understand why or know why. They gave some reasonings. There's a existence of that subreddit on the internet. It doesn't feel quite as good. I mean, because I used to kind of travel through Beer Trade. I wasn't quite interested in doing it, but you could see it was fun to kind of look through and see what people were doing and trading and getting into that world and being curious about that world. So I jumped on Beer Advocate, and I've been kind of poking around there for the last couple months. I jumped onto the trading forum. I found a guy who was going to trade from his bottle shop. And he's like, I got anything in my bottle shop is up for trade. He was in New York, which made me go, I could try for Other Half Brewing. I messaged him on the forum, and then I actually looked through his bottle shop link that he sent and realized he had a ton of beer, of stuff I have never tried that I was super interested in. So I messaged him again, and I'm like, you know what? As much as I want Other Half, I'm interested in almost everything in your bottle shop. After about a week, he never got back to me. He basically ghosted everyone on the forum. But another guy on there messaged me. His username on Beer Advocate is Eric Rubb. Yes, I believe it's Eric Rubb. Or probably Eric Rube in hindsight. And he got back to me. He's from Texas, and he wanted to do a beer trade. So I traded him. I sent him, let me think, 5 beers, 6 beers, 7 beers. I know the main ones was I sent him one of all my doubles of all the Anchorage brewing I had, which they were really good. So it was a tough sell and a tough trade. I kind of offered it originally, and then as soon as I did, I was like, oh man, am I gonna regret this? I don't know if I regret it. It was a good. I think he sent me some really good stuff, so it's hard for me to be mad about it, especially the one I hear today. But then I sent a head full of dynamite, so that's 4. I sent a Delilah by Matchless. I sent a Willie Hayes Maze by 7 Seas, and that one I don't know. I don't feel great about that one. I kind of wish I would have done Silver City Hazy, and then I sent the Fresh Hop by Deschutes, which is the Hazy Fresh Hop by Deschutes, which I really liked. He seemed to like okay based on the Untapped rating. Oh, I guess I should say that too. I'm back on Untapped. I'm using that more often. I'll cover that more at the end. But yeah. So I sent him some pretty good stuff, and I'm gonna do more or less a box opening, but the box is already opened, so I just turned all the cans towards me. So it's kind of a box opening for the beer that I received from my beer trade. And just imagine a giant box here and wrapped in a ton of bubble wrap. You can see the remnants of it over here. But the downside is I'm not gonna be as surprised by some of them. I already kind of suspected. I knew 2 of the beers. He listed everything, but I didn't really know. I didn't look into what any of them were. So you lack the surprise element of it, but it should still be. It's fun. So the first one I got. This is the one, I gotta be honest, I'm really excited about, and that's why I cracked it open tonight. It's one I've seen pop up a lot on Instagram. It's a high-level trade. It's Parish Brewing Ghost and Machine. I see this one pop up all over the place, so I'm really excited about that one. That's one I actually opened up first, and I'm gonna try. And I mean, you guys need to see this thing. This thing is like thick as orange juice. It's so thick and hazy, and I can't wait to jump into it. So here we go. Cheers. Holy cow! Texas is doing something right with beer. I've had ever since Austin. I've had a bunch of Texas beers. That's not. I'm saying that incorrectly. Because of Austin, I had a lot of hazy beers and a lot of Austin beers and a lot of Texas beers. They make a really good beer. This thing's amazing. Holy cow! I could imagine what my rating's gonna be on Untapped. Probably 4.25. That's a great beer. It looks amazing. It tastes amazing. Has excellent smell. Has a nice hoppy flavor. Like if you like hops, it has a really good hoppy flavor, but also has a really nice juicy. What is this thing considered? It's really juicy flavors. I don't know what's in this thing, but this thing is amazing. It's a double IPA. Okay, so then the second beer I received is one I already actually had. We had it on the podcast. It was kind of a last second. I was probably had too much to drink, and I was like, oh, I gotta let these guys try it. As soon as I tried it, I was like, oh, I made a mistake because that beer was so good. So I'm really glad I got a second or fourth Tups Brewing DDH IPA Series 4. We cracked this open. There's the awesome podcast one. Like I said, it wasn't originally planned that I was gonna open it, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, that beer was so good." So I was really happy to share with my friends. But then as soon as the end of the night, I sat there and went, "Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to drink that beer anymore," and I don't know if I'll ever get it again. So I'm super excited about this one. We've had it before. Excellent beer. Up there is one of the top beers I've ever had. I got a couple from a brewery called Turning Point Beer. I don't know much about them. I am going to look into them a little bit more, mostly because this beer name is crazy, and I don't imagine it tastes like this, especially based on just kind of the hops that are in it. It's an IPA. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it is. It's a wheat cream double IPA by Turning Point Beer called Turkey and Gravy. So I don't think it'll taste like turkey and gravy. I imagine it's a really good beer, but definitely it's a weird name. I don't know what to think of it. So I'm excited to crack that one open. That'll probably be this weekend. The second Turning Point beer we got is Shake Zula Key Lime Pie. I'm a big fan of key lime. And this can art and this can kind of reminds me, you know what, I guess the brewery as a whole so far, based on these two cans, kind of reminds me of Evil Twin. They have a lot of really odd style beers and unique style beers. So I'm very curious about those ones. I got one porter, and it's a Baltic porter. Not the biggest fan of Baltic porters, but I'm definitely interested in trying it still. And the can art is awesome. I don't know what it is about that I'm loving about this one, but I love just looking at it. It looks like a cool tattoo. It's called from Great Raft Brewing, Old Mad Joe Baltic Porter. I don't know if I get a good shot at that can art, but I'm thoroughly digging it. I need to get better lighting, but you get the idea. And then the last beer I got is from Division Brewing called Boogie Van, and this like how they did this. They must be a pretty small brewery. It reminds me of a Crowler, but it's only a normal 6-ounce beer, but it's a handwritten label. It has like the label, but then it handwrites the rest. So I'm guessing they're a pretty small brewery, and they're probably doing all their own canning, but not paying for the labeling right now. So that's interesting. Either way, yeah, like I said, that's my first beer trade. So like the interesting about beer trading that makes it tough for me to get into it is there's a big game around beer trading that revolves around like the highest quality. Like this one is one of those ones that's a pretty high quality sought after beer. I don't know how crazy hard it is to get, but like think over here on the West Coast, a high value beer trade is going to be any of the Fremont barrel aged stuff right now. And I don't know if I've seen any other beer kind of pop up in that from our neck of the woods that are doing kind of what they're doing. So and we have a fridge full of Fremont, but I don't know if I want to trade it away is the problem. I even bought the extra coconut bomb because I thought there's a chance. I was like, in my mind, I was like, maybe I'll use this as a beer trade. But there's a huge market around. It's so weird, like how they value beers. Bottle Logic is one of those ones that's huge. There's a site where you can that's like eBay for beers, and some of the prices being purchased on the beer, some of these beers is insane. And I don't know if I'm ready in that world. I'm already at the point where we spend so much on these barrel aged beers that I don't know if we could spend more. Like there's one I haven't bought yet because it's a $26 beer, and there's a couple beers I haven't picked up. Like there's the big one that I was talking about is CBS by Founders. That one's a huge beer that I've seen on Instagram and Reddit for years, and I'm like, I got to get that beer. And then I went to I was at the store and I saw it and I was like, oh, I didn't buy that beer, but I was like, I can't justify spending $26 on a beer, even if I know it's the best beer. It's $26 on one big beer. But that's not outrageous if you look at some of the other barrel aged stuff that we've had. Before I had a hard time justifying like $17 now, but like almost all the beers in my fridge right now are around that $20 range, and that's crazy. That's so much money. So there's a huge market around those kind of beers. And if you look at the beer trade forum on Beer Advocate, you'll see a lot of like in search of Ninja Assassin, which is by Toppling Goliath, or you'll see the barrel age bombs, the variants, or you'll see the Bourbon County or Bourbon Country by Goose Island. Those are high value trades that people want to trade, or Bottle Logic. Any of their specialty beers, a Bottle Logic, because they do a raffle system for their stuff. That's the kind of stuff you'll see on there. I'm more interested in just trying beers from different places and less interested in playing the let's make a deal game or let's find the highest value beer and trade it off. So after I did this trade, after it's closed out this morning, actually, I went on to Beer Advocate and did in search of 4 local beers for trade for local beers. I don't know if Beer Advocate is going to be the best route to try to get the trade game. I got to be honest. It's just one of those things that I just don't think it's the right way to go, because I just out of curiosity, because I was like, man, no one's even looking at my post, but a lot of people looked at my post. No one's biting, and there are pages and pages of people posting stuff with no comments. So I don't know if that's going to be the best route, or we're at a point where this is the wrong time to try to seek something like that out. Either way, I'm interested in doing beer trade stuff still. I just don't know if that's the right route, but I don't know if there's another place to really do it either. It's really odd. I'm really interested in it. The guys I traded with was saying that he did a lot of his stuff on Untapped. I'm hoping to be able to, like, the biggest thing is there's a lot of breweries on my bucket list. I've gone over this a million times. We're talking Treehouse, Trillium, Monkish, Bottle Logic again, even though I've had them already. Any of that. I mean, there's a million breweries I'm always curious about. Bearded Iris. Always curious about, always interested in trying. And the challenge is I don't know if I could get into a place where I could trade for some, because like Treehouse is one of those ones that I think they only sell by the case. So when people go, they come back with cases and cases of beer. I want to jump in on a trade with those people. I just don't know how to enter that world. And you could buy stuff on that eBay site I was telling you about, but they're so expensive and overpriced. You're talking a beer that probably costs $5 or $6 a piece is going for $35 for a 4-pack. And then you have to pay for $16 worth of shipping. It's just like paying $50 for 4 beers. And it's like, I can't justify doing that. It's just a waste of money at that point. So the beer trade, I'm really excited about. I'm hoping if I could kind of get buddy with Eric, I could find a place where I could maybe find some of his friends who he does beer trades with and get something going. But it's really fun. I was really excited. I was so glad I got the box and opened it up. And it's all been a ton of fun, but I don't know how to go forward with it. Either way. I did have one more note on Tavr I wanted to cover. I have four more beers to pick up from Tavr. I saw a couple beers last week and the week after. I saw a bunch of stuff pop up that was on the lower end of pricing. So 2 16 ounces for $8. I think I saw 2 16 ounces for $7, and I was like, God damn, these aren't badly priced at all now. So they have some stuff on there that it's easier to justify spending money on. We've gone through most of the IPAs I went through. I think I've tried every IPA, maybe minus 1 or 2. I think I've tried every IPA from them that I've received so far. I have loved the IPAs. The barrel-aged stuff that we got that I spent a little bit more money on, and the best example of this is the one I've talked about a couple times, which is the Queen Hazel. Everything is high percentage ABV, but everything has like the first couple sips you're like, oh, this is really good, but it's so strong. It lacks the subtlety of a good barrel aged, and it's hard to drink them. And I think with that knowledge, I might find it a little difficult to continue using Tavr besides buying like 1 or 2 beers. And the 1 or 2 beers that come to mind are going to be anything by Anchorage, except for the one that popped up today because I didn't want to spend $15 on or $14 on 2 beers, and anything Toppling Goliath. And I missed one of those, but I think that's the route, how I'm going to use it. And every once in a while, if something really tickles my fancy, like they had one up there the other day from a Hawaiian company, I think, that was gone immediately. And I almost pulled the trigger on it, and I was like, I'll grab it tomorrow. And then I jumped. It was like, I think it was 2 hours later, I looked again and it was gone. I was like, holy cow. So there's some beers on there I need to make sure I grab when I see them. But outside of that, I'm going to try to stick to my local stores. Okay. That's basically all I had to say. I want to thank Eric. I don't think he'll be seeing this. I mentioned, I'm starting to use Untapped a little bit more. It's just, I think if there's a good chance it'll help me with the beer trade game, I'm interested in it because of that. I don't know. I stopped using it because I started using Instagram more, and I think I still prefer Instagram over any other social media, but it doesn't add too much time to my social media. Well, it doesn't. It's not so much a hassle that I'm not willing to do it. So I'm okay sticking with doing it as long as I can. But on Untapped, like everywhere else, I'm aging nerds. Yeah, I think that does it. This is basically, I think, the last podcast of the year, unless I do something this weekend because I get bored I guess Yeah, and if I do something this weekend, I do have a goal for next year to try to get Amanda on the podcast every once in a while. I don't think it'll happen. She's okay being a voice in the crowd, but I don't think she wants to be on video. I'm gonna try, and I'm hoping I can make it happen, but I don't have the highest of hopes. But yeah, so this podcast thing has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I've poured a lot of time into it. I have a lot of goals for 2019. If you heard the last podcast, you heard them all. I'm hoping I could do something with this. I don't know what, and even if I don't do anything really more than hanging out with friends, doing beer shares, and maybe going out to a couple breweries with them, if that all that comes out of it, I'm okay with it. But it seems like it's actually a lot of fun, and I hope I could keep doing it for you guys. So thank you. If anyone's watching, thank you. If you have any questions, comments, we have all of our social media is basically SipNtel at said place. So like email sipntel@gmail.com. Instagram is SipNtel podcast or SipNtel. It's either SipNtel or SipNtel podcast, and it's spelled SIPNTEL, all one word. If you are watching, you're enjoying it, I would love for you to leave a message, send a comment. Like I said, I keep a pretty close eye on the email, and I keep a close eye on the Facebook, and I keep a close eye on the YouTube and on Instagram. So if you have any comments, please send them. Thank you very much. And I guess as corny as it is, but I will see you guys next year. Bye-bye.